of you know what exercises to include in your workout routine. I'm going to share with you what I do with my clients and how I put together an exercise routine for them to have a well-rounded set of exercises where they are getting all the different aspects of what they need for their joints and to increase muscle mass and strength. So what I like to start out with my clients is stability. So a lot of people know they need to be working their rotator cuff, but they don't know how to actually do that. They don't know what exercises work their rotator cuff. So I like to start there because the rotator cuff actually helps hold that shoulder together and gives us a strong foundation for all of the other exercises we're going to do. So for this, we're going to be using a band, and I'm going to start with a lightweight band because the rotator cuff is a small muscle group. So you do not need a heavy band to get a great workout on the rotator cuff. So you're going to wrap the band right at about belly button level. So right above your waist. From here, I'm just going to hold one side just to keep tension on it, but this is just at my side holding it so it doesn't go anywhere. And then the other hand is right at my belly button with my elbow at my side. Now, this is our starting position. We're working the muscle back here in the back of the shoulder. It's a small muscle that helps hold that shoulder in socket. So, starting here, you're going to rotate out, keeping your elbow right by your rib cage. So I'm not lifting my arm out to the side. I'm keeping my elbow right where it is and just pivoting around. This is called external rotation of the shoulder, and it's a great exercise to strengthen your rotator cuff in that external rotation movement. This can be a very unstable movement if this isn't very strong. And a lot of people find that doing this is pretty challenging at the start. So I'd recommend trying to aim for about 10 reps of this each side. You should feel that in the back of your shoulder. You'd be amazed how many guys I've talked to where they say, oh yeah, I used to lift weights, but it's been about 5 years. I was lifting 250, but then my shoulder started hurting, started popping. And a lot of times they're doing nothing for their rotator cuff, nothing to strengthen this muscle, and it eventually just gave out on them and they had shoulder problems. So I like to have this included at the beginning so people are aware of their rotator cuff, they're keeping it strong, they're keeping it healthy, and they're protecting their shoulder. Now, some people, other movements they do they have more complicated ways of targeting the rotator cuff, and that's totally fine. But especially starting out, I find this isolation movement is a really effective way of making that mind muscle connection with your external rotators, which is what we're working here. That rotator cuff is what moves in this rotation towards the outside. So an important thing about this is to not move your waist. So I'm not twisting like this, because that's actually just using my hips and legs to rotate around rather than that rotator muscle in the shoulder. So make sure you're keeping your chest facing straight towards the front. So I'd start with that exercise before we move into anything more intense to help strengthen that stability in the shoulder. Now from there, I pick a pushing exercise and a pulling exercise because that balances the muscles between, I'm getting both sides of the joint, I'm getting a more well-rounded physique, and I'm not neglecting one side over the other. So I'm working both the front and the back. So for a pushing exercise, these can be anything from a bench press, a push-up, but what we're going to be doing today is going to be an incline press. This works the pushing muscles, but primarily this upper pectoral muscle with some tricep and some of the lower pec. But primarily, you should feel it up here in these chest muscles. So for this, I'm going to go to a heavier band. And it's important to get the band set in the right position. So what you are going to want to do is anchor the band where it's angled downward. So if I hold this right at my chest, it should be somewhere between a 30 and 45 degree angle downwards. So it's pretty steep angle pulling down. So from here, I'm going to step forward till my hands are right in line with my chest, and I'm going to push my chest out. See, I'm staying straight and tall, really trying to pinch my shoulder blades together, pushing the chest out. And my hands are all the way back, and then I'm bringing them wide to about elbow width. So you can test to make sure that you're right at chest level, but then bring those hands wide. This is our starting position. Now for the incline press, I'm going to push up at an angle, pushing away from where the band is anchored, and then all the way back. So the important part of this movement is going all the way back, really trying to bend my elbows, pinch my shoulder blades together to return to this fully stretched position. That's where I'm putting a lot of tension in the muscle. And that's what's going to build that chest muscle. So I'm pushing out, straightening my elbows. You don't have to lock out your elbows. You can just go to where they're almost completely straight and then back, but you do want to try and bend your elbows completely and really pinch those shoulder blades together in that movement. And that's going to get you an incline press. So that's our pushing exercise. Now I'm going to pair that with a pulling exercise. For pulling, we're going to do a wide grip row. So for this, I'm going to have the band right at about chest height. Arms out in front. This is our starting position. You're going to let the band pull you all the way forward, so my shoulder blades are pulled, not back, but all the way to the front. From here, I'm going to pull backwards, pinching my shoulder blades together. I'm going to try and keep my elbows up at chest height. And then come all the way back to forward. Now, if I come back forward and there's slack in the band, I'm going to try and make sure that it stays tight. So I'm going to make sure that there's enough tension in the band where I'm having pull against it even at this fully extended position. So from here, rolling back and then back. Now this is a wide grip row, so I'm working those upper back muscles a little bit more. If I was doing a narrow grip, that would work more the lats. Doing this wide grip, I get a little bit more of that upper back. Both are good pulling exercises, but I like the wide grip for this one today. So, those two exercises give you a well-rounded upper body workout. So what do we do for the lower body now? Well, it's actually the same thing. We still want to do a pushing exercise and a pulling exercise. It's actually a really good format to pair those two together. That's why it's a very common workout routine to do push day and pull day. If we're, we're combining those all into one to do a full body movement. For our pushing exercise for the lower body, we're going to do a sumo squat. So I'm going to put my hands up here by my shoulders. So I'm keeping tension in the band, and I'm going to walk my feet out. I'm actually going to switch the camera. Hang on. So you can see me a little easier. So stepping in the middle of the band, hands up by your shoulders, then walk your feet out to the sides, about double shoulder width, like a sumo wrestler, that wide stance. Now what that's going to do is really emphasize these inner thigh muscles. We're working these inner thigh muscles and the front of the thigh with this one especially. So our starting position is like this. You're gonna bend your knees. I want my knees to really push out to the sides so you can even push it against the band. That's one thing I like about the band is you have a physical tactile sensation of keeping those knees out. That's a very important part of this, is I don't let the knees buckle in, I keep them out wide. This is a sumo squat. This is our pushing exercise for the legs. You should feel that on the inner part of your thigh. I'm trying to keep my back straight as I do this. You should feel this in the top of my thigh and the inner part of my thigh. And this is our pushing exercise for the legs. Now for the pulling exercise for our legs, we're gonna do a pull through. So what I'm gonna do, is attach this band low to the ground, and I'm going to put the band right between my legs. Now you want this anchored low so it's not gonna bump into you as you're pulling through. What I'm gonna do now is walk away from the band till the band is pulling back down through my legs. So really step through it so you have tension. From here, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna have to switch to the other camera. There we go. So this is gonna be a pull through. So my hands start between my knees. I'm gonna stand up, pulling through, pushing my hips to the front. So this is working those glute muscles and hamstrings in the back, working those pulling muscles. So we worked the front, the first exercise, now we're working the back. So you're gonna go here, pull through, and then relax back down. Trying to keep your back straight. So I'm not lifting with my back, I'm lifting with my hips. So I'm really trying to push my hips back and then pull them forward. See how my back stays flat? So stepping wide, keep that back flat, pull through. So this is a pull through exercise. I'm really using that hip hinge movement to engage the hamstrings and glutes. And those will cover a majority of the muscles in your lower body. So with those 5 exercises, we cover a majority of the muscles in the body. From there, you can do any isolation exercises that just target muscles you want to build up. For me, I like to target the deltoid muscle. So I finish off with a lateral raise crossover. So for that, I go to a lighter band, step right in the middle of the band. I cross my hands in front, and from here, hands start at your sides, lifting up to the side to shoulder height, and back down. Now, I really like bands for this one because you get a very even force curve through the whole thing. I want my thumbs to point towards the front. Don't want them pointed up or down. Straight out to the front to target that deltoid right down the middle, so it's even. And then I'm lifting up to my shoulder height, straight out to the sides. Now, try not swing as you're doing this. You want to stand straight and tall, just lifting with your arms. You should feel that in the top of your shoulder. So that is a full workout routine for using resistance bands for starting out. If you like these sort of workouts and want to see more, I host them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you guys there. Now we're going to go into a full follow along workout using these 6 exercises. So we're going to be doing multiple sets to build up muscle mass and muscle endurance. So that means we're going to be doing these exercises 3 times in succession. Excuse me a moment. So, reason we do 3 sets where we repeat the exercise 3 times, because you get some muscle strength from the first one, but then the second time and third time you get a little bit more and a little bit more. So we are able to compound how fast we can build that muscle. So that's why we try and get more out of every workout by doing multiple sets. We're already warmed up, we're already ready to go. So that's why we jump right in to doing multiple sets and then get the most out of every workout. So we're going to start with our rotator cuff exercise, starting with your hand right at your belly button, rotating out and away, keeping that elbow in right and by your side. Don't let that elbow move. You want to come all the way back to your belly button and all the way out to the side. Just feel this in the back of your shoulder. Now in this one, don't want the muscle to be completely exhausted. I just want it to feel a little bit tired. So don't go so heavy on this that it's just completely exhausted your shoulder. That it's okay to just go a lightweight and just feel a little bit of fatigue building up in this muscle. A lot of times if people go too heavy on this one, they have secondary muscles start working to compensate for this muscle. That's why I'd say it's better to start light and train that muscle directly rather than go heavy and start having other muscles take over. A lot of times people start doing traps and other movements. And going back to the other way. I like this because you can just turn, face the other way, and then go straight into the movement. This is a very neglected exercise in my opinion. Now, you couldn't do this quite the same with dumbbells. I have seen people standing up trying to do this with dumbbells like this. It doesn't actually work that muscle because if you think about it, gravity is pulling downwards, not this direction. So if you're doing this with dumbbells, you have to lay down on your side and lift up to the side away from the floor. But that's the great thing about resistance bands is you can choose which direction the force is going. So because of that, it's much easier to set up. Just grab that resistance band, anchor it around a post or around any, a lot of these this one comes with a door anchor. So you can just close it in a door and be ready to go. And one more time each side. This is set number 3. Well, one side is resting, the other side is working. That's one nice thing about these sets is we don't have a lot of downtime between. We can get a really efficient workout done. And one more time each side, or on the left side. Feel that right in the back of the ball and socket of your shoulder. Oh. So now I'm going to go to a heavier band. Now, for me, what I like to do on the chest press, since it's a large set of muscles, is I actually like to do 2 bands. I'm using the black and red at the same time to give myself enough challenge. What you want to do is you want to pick a band heavy enough that it is fatiguing for you to do the exercise. And I would try and make it so by about 10, you're tired, you need to be done. That's a good number to shoot for, especially if you're just starting out. You don't need to do so heavy that even the first rep is really tiring. Excuse me. You don't want to go so heavy that the first rep is really tiring. You want to be able to control the movement. So if the first rep is uncontrolled, it's too heavy. Go heavy enough where you could get to about 5 reps, but are starting to feel that burn at 5. So anywhere between 5 and 10 is a good number to shoot for, but I would aim for somewhere closer to 10. So anchoring the band where it's angled downwards at about a 45-degree angle. It's between 30 and 45. Hands wide, chest up. We're working the upper chest muscles with an incline press. So from here, pushing out towards the front. Now, if you feel like you're getting pulled over, step forward with 1 foot. It doesn't matter which foot, just to give yourself a little bit more balance. The heavier you go, the more likely it is you're going to need to step forward with 1 foot to make sure that you don't get pulled over. And you want to go until you feel tired in the muscle, tired in your chest muscle. Might be that as you're going forward, you feel like you're slowing down. You can't push it quite as much. That's a good sign. That means you're getting to that muscle fatigue. I'm really trying to keep my chest up to really stretch that chest muscle. The other thing I'm doing is pausing for a moment at the bottom, because that is where I'm most likely to risk injury or having something go wrong. So I'm not going fast through that portion where I bounce out of it. A lot of people do that where they bounce it. They use their muscle like a rubber band, and that is more likely to cause injury. So we don't want micro tearing or macro tearing in the muscle. Either of those would be a potential injury. So we are not bouncing, we're controlling that movement through the whole range of motion. All right, now going into a wide grip row. So I'm gonna let the band pull me forward, stepping back till I feel tension in that fully extended position. And then I'm gonna pull to the back. Again, you can step back with 1 foot if you feel like you're being pulled over a little bit, to give yourself balance. So I'm pulling to my chest level, keeping my elbows up at that chest level. I'm pinching my shoulder blades together as I pull back. This is working all those small muscles around the shoulder blades that stabilize those shoulders in that retracted position, which is that pulled back position. And relax. You want to go until you feel tired in the muscle. So whatever that number is for you, if it's under 5 though, try and go for a slightly lighter band. So now going straight back into incline press, we're going one to the next on this. So chest up, pushing out to the front. Well, the pulling muscles were working, the pushing muscles are relaxing. So we're going straight in to the next set. This is set number 2. If you have any questions, let me know in chat or the comments. Love to help out. Now you want to keep your hands wide at elbow width. So think about your hands being straight in front of your elbows, because that keeps that leverage on the chest the whole time. And relax. We're going straight back into a wide grip row. We do these in what are called supersets, where we go from one exercise to the next in a pair, because that gets us through our workout quickly and efficiently. As well, one muscle is working, the other is resting and recovering. And so we don't need to take as much time between exercises to rest. And that lets you get through a really efficient workout quickly. Now you can always take a little bit more time to rest, and that's okay. But I know a lot of people are limited on time. They want to get through a workout quickly so they can get on with their day, do other things they want to do. So this is a great way of getting through quickly. And relax. So that was set number 2 of our pulling exercise. We've got one more to go. Excuse me a moment. So going last set of incline press. Now this is the one where it's important to really focus on your technique, because it's very easy for technique to break down as we get tired. So I want you to keep good form, keep your chest up, keep your hands wide, and no bouncing out of that bottom of the movement, because that is where injuries can occur. We want to have a good, strong joint and no injured muscles. So if you need to stop, or if you need to do a few less reps on this one, that is okay. So pushing your chest out, pushing out to the front, back, keeping those hands wide. You feel that tension across your chest, especially as you bend your elbows coming back. So I'm trying to keep my chest up, pushing out to the front, doing that incline press. Strong finish, and relax. I'd wrap this once around just to give myself a little bit, sorry if that was loud, a little bit more tension. And the main reason I'm actually doing that, you don't have to do this unless you're limited on space. I'm trying to just be a little bit closer to the camera center of view. So if you're limited on space, you can always wrap it around once to give yourself a little bit more tension at this lengthened position. So from here, pulling back to the rib cage. Keeping those elbows at chest height. This is a wide grip row. Doing that pulling exercise. I'm pinching my shoulder blades together as I pull back. This is working upper back and the lats, which run along the rib cage. And relax. So that was our upper body workout. Now we're going to shift to lower body. So for this, I'm actually going to switch the band a little bit. Just because I know for me, I'm adjusting the weight slightly. Something I like about these bands is you can always add another color band to it to adjust the band slightly up or slightly down, because all of them have a different level of tension. And if this ever gets too easy, at 2 bands, I could always do a 3rd band as well. So we're going to take a wide stance, hands up by your shoulders to keep tension on the band. So we're going to do a sumo squat. So if it's hard to get your hands up by your shoulders, before you step out to the side, put your hands up here, then, so if it's ever hard to get the man up here, do it before you step wide. So here, step wide, step wide. Now from here, you're going to bend your knees, going down into a sumo squat, keep those knees wide. So I'm pushing my knees out so they're pointed in the same direction as my toes. So you can always think about bringing your elbows down to your knees, trying to get that deep sumo squat. So I'm really opening up my hips. Now, if you feel like you can't go that low, just go as low as you can. It might be that your flexibility limits you a little bit on this one. Go as low as you can, keeping your back flat. And relax. Now we're going to do a pull through. So anchoring the band low, stepping right into the middle of the band, and then walk forward. You feel the band pulling you back through. From here, I'm not trying to bend my knees, trying to keep my knees relatively straight, not locked, but I'm keeping my knees stiff so it doesn't really bend through this movement. It's all from my hips. So back straight, you can look up to the front to help keep your back straight. I'm gonna pull through, engaging my glutes. So I'm really pushing forward with those glutes. Should feel it really working back in here. This is a pull through exercise. Let's see if I can get this a little bit better in the camera. It's going down and pulling through to the front. I'm not pulling with my arms either. I'm just letting my arms hold without worrying about lifting with my arms at all. It's all from my glutes and hamstrings. And 10. So you go back, you can really feel that in the hamstrings in that low position. I'm gonna grab a quick sip of water. Oh. So, those are our pushing and pulling exercises for the legs. Now for the legs, they're a much larger muscle group, so you might need some rest time between doing sets because bigger muscle takes more blood, more work on your heart to actually move it around. That's okay. It's fine to take a minute or two between sets, especially for the legs. But if you want to keep on going and just go back to back, as long as you're being safe. And that's one thing I like about the bands is there's no heavy weights involved. If you drop them, they're not going to crush your foot, probably. It'd have to be a pretty heavy band to do that. So it's a little easier to go from one exercise to the next without having to worry about being crushed under weights or having something go wrong. But you can take a minute or two, catch your breath, and then move on to the next exercise. So we're going back to sumo squats. So bring the band into position, then step wide out to the side. Hands wide at the shoulder, you should feel that band pulling downward on your body. This is set number 2 for sumo squats. So bending your knees, bring your elbows down to try and get all the way down to your legs, keeping your back flat. So back stays flat. I can lean forward a little bit, that's fine. But as much as you can, try and bend at those knees. You feel that in the inner part of your thigh and top of your thigh. Working the adductors and quads in a pushing exercise. Because I'm pushing back up. So it's down and push. And last one. And up. And now going straight into a pull through. So stepping right in the band, walking forward till you feel it pulling you backwards. So I'm gonna bend at my hips. I'm gonna look up to the front to keep my back flat. And from here, I'm gonna pull up and through, bring my hips forward. So I wanna walk far enough forward where I feel tension pulling me back. So I'm really working those hips because I want them to be tensioned in that lengthened position where I'm most flat. So tensioned down here, pulling up to the front. Eight. Two more. And relax. All right, we've got one more set of legs to do. I'm gonna stick with this view. One moment. Okay. Had to check something real quick. So, going back to our last set of sumo squats. This is our pushing exercise for the legs. There are a lot of different pushing exercises you can do. A lot of them are squat variations. So, the sumo squat is one, works those quads and the adductors. But you could also do a lunge or a leg press. Any of those exercises work really well too. So from here, bending your knees, Sitting down, keeping your back flat. If you think about it, you can think about your chest pointing to the wall in front of you. So keeping that chest up. Now keep your back straight. I'm going till I feel fatigue in those muscles. And relax. Now, last set of pull-throughs. Anchor the band low. Stepping right in the middle of the band. Walking forward so my hands pull through my legs. And from here, pulling, keeping my back flat, pulling through my hips, pushing the hips forward. So I'm keeping my knees stiff, pulling forward with my hips. Not with my back, not with my legs. Or not with my knees, I should say. Because we're working the muscles in the back of the thigh, back of the hips. One more. And 10. And relax. So you can walk back towards the band and then let it drop when it's slack. All right, so if you're enjoying this workout and want to see more, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So hope to see you guys there live. Plus, if you have any questions, if you hit subscribe and the bell for notifications, you can be here live. I'm happy to answer questions or help out. Or if you just are looking for encouragement and want to do workouts with someone, I'm here for that too. So anything I can do to help you guys succeed. So I want you to be happy and healthy. So we're going to end with building up those deltoid muscles. This helps build out your shoulders, so you have broader shoulders. So if you're looking for that physique, it's good for your shoulder health, building up that deltoid to move your shoulder fluidly. It's also good for your physique, building out those wide shoulders. To be honest, that's why I like this a little bit more, is I like how it looks. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to build up how you look as well. But I want you to do it in a healthy way, of well balanced, so that you can continue being mobile your entire life. So starting with your hands at your sides, we're gonna lift up to the side and then back down. Now, you only have to go as high as your shoulder. That's totally fine. If you can go higher, that's okay. Some people that's painful to do because of how their shoulder is put together. It can pinch the nerve a little bit. That same nerve that feeds into your funny bone at your elbow. So imagine hitting your funny bone in your shoulder. That's how it feels to some people. So that's why we only go as high as the shoulder. You don't have to go all the way up. Depending on, some people can, where they go all the way up like this. I can, without any pain, but if that's not you, just go to shoulder height. You get all that deltoid benefit, and that's as high as you need to go. And relax. So that this range right here is controlled by the deltoid. When we get past that point, the traps, this muscle up here in your neck, takes over for the deltoid. So deltoid, traps. So it's deltoid, 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 traps. And so that's why we only need to go as high as the shoulder. So on this one, I like to take a minute between, let the muscle recover, and then go back for another set. So we're closing out with 3 sets of crossover deltoid or lateral raises, crossover deltoid raises. This is not a push-pull exercise. This is what's called an abduction exercise, but I like to give a little bit more to the deltoid to help well round it. Because in the pushing exercises, we get the front of the deltoid. The pulling exercises, we get the back of the deltoid. And this gets that middle section of the deltoid to really round out that whole piece of it. So you get a really good even between the three pieces of that deltoid. All right, so stepping in the middle of the band. Hands cross in front for that crossover exercise. And then from here, lifting out to the side and then back down. Now, your hands go straight out from your shoulders on this one. I'm gonna step just a little bit narrower so it's even. Trying to do between 5 and 10 reps is a good place to shoot for. And relax. And we're gonna do one more set of these. Remember what I was talking about with sets? You get some muscle growth from the first set, but if we do multiple sets, we can increase how much muscle growth we're getting per workout. And that way if you're limited on time, 1 set's fine. But if you have the time, multiple sets means you're not leaving muscle growth on the table. Because up to a point, and we're not quite sure how many sets is the maximum, what that is, but more sets means more muscle growth. So there probably is a point where that stops, but we haven't found where that is yet. A lot of people call that junk volume, where they've gotten so many sets that it stops really being a good technical movement. The muscle isn't getting a stimulus to grow. But that exact number of where that is debated right now. There might be an answer to it, but at the moment it's not 100% clear. So that's why I like to aim for 3 sets. That gets you, if you do 3 workouts a week, times 3 sets is 9 sets in a week, which is a good spot to shoot for. So you're getting a lot of muscle growth, and then as you're able, you might even try to go up to 4 sets. Or if 3 is too much, you might start with 2 sets of workout, and that's totally fine. The goal is to start at a manageable level and slowly build over time. So if you are just starting out and 2 sets is all you can do, that is awesome. You're doing a great job. That is where you should start for the first couple weeks. And then as you feel more comfortable with it, you can challenge yourself to do a 3rd set. That's that concept, the concept that is called progressive overload, where we're always pushing your body just a little bit outside of its comfort zone. But I would say some people decide to go so far outside their comfort zone that they stop even doing the exercise correctly. And that's as far as I go with that exercise. So I would just go a little bit further, just 1 step each time. Don't feel like you're skipping steps, because that's where injury can occur, and that'll set you back more than you would have gained. So if you like these sort of workouts and want to see more, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're looking to get equipment I have, I put affiliate links down below. That will help you find the exact equipment I use, and it also helps support the channel. So thank you guys for helping me out, and hope to see you guys next time.